He who sets no boundaries teaches others to cross them. The world is organized simply. They respect not the one who tries, but the one who does not need. People are not drawn to those who explain everything, who ask, who justify themselves. They are drawn to those who stand calmly when others are worried. Your weakness is rarely that you are bad, but more often that you try too hard to be good. Machiavelli knew respect is not a consequence of kindness, but a result of internal calculation. People do not respect those who are too predictable. They do not respect those who talk more than they act. They do not respect those who put feelings above dignity, because respect is a form of fear mixed with admiration. And for it to appear, a person must feel in you a boundary that cannot be crossed. The hidden weakness does not shout. It manifests in intonation, in how you explain, justify, agree, when internally you want to say no. People sense falsehood instantly. They may not realize it, but they read it with their bodies. Machiavelli wrote, "The one who justifies himself too often puts himself below others." You can be kind, just, even wise, but if there is no inner firmness, there will be no respect, because the world reacts not to words, but to state. People respect boundaries, not arguments. They feel where you stand, and how much you can be moved. And if you allow the line to be crossed even once, they stop seeing you as an equal. Weakness begins with the desire to be understood. As soon as you seek understanding, you lose power. Machiavelli said, "A ruler who tries to please everyone will inevitably lose the respect of everyone." This is not cynicism. It is the reality of human nature. People do not respect those who seek love, because love is dependence, and dependence destroys dignity. Hidden weakness always masks itself as kindness. You yield not because you are magnanimous, but because you are afraid of losing contact. You keep silent, not out of wisdom, but out of fear of conflict. You agree not for the sake of peace, but so that you are not rejected. But every such, "it's okay," erodes your foundation. People quickly learn, you can be moved. Machiavelli knew, power is lost, not in battle, but in trifles. When you yield out of pity, when you explain to be liked, when you take a step towards those who haven't taken one first, you devalue yourself, because respect is not for the one who is convenient, but for the one who is predictable in his principles. Respect is not connected to kindness. It is born from a limit. People respect those who are able to say no without raising their voice, who do not argue, but also do not yield, who do not prove, but also do not retreat. Machiavelli understood, power begins where explanations end. Hidden weakness manifests in the eyes. When you wait for a reaction, when you seek confirmation, when you fear silence, you lose your footing. The strong person does not wait. He knows that time plays in his favor. Machiavelli wrote, "Let others hurry. The ruler wins." With patience. You lose respect when you start to justify your dignity. When you try to prove that you deserve love, that your intentions are pure, that you didn't mean to offend. All these explanations sound beautiful, but to the world they are the smell of blood. People respect those who hold the line, who do not explain, who remain calm even when they are not understood. Hidden weakness is often born from trauma. A person who was not heard in childhood grows up with an inner thirst to be seen, and all his life he builds relationships in which he tries to earn attention. But attention that must be earned is not respect, but dependence. Machiavelli knew, the one who begs for attention has already lost. The strong do not demand recognition, they attract it. Their calmness creates a space where respect arises naturally, because in their presence, others feel their boundaries. Weakness does the opposite. It blurs the distance, makes everything kind. And in this kind chaos, no one feels a firm line. You lose respect when you say yes instead of no, when you promise more than you can, when you agree so as not to lose favor. Machiavelli said, "Concession for the sake of peace is a weakness that the enemy turns into a strategy." It is the same in life. People, sensing your readiness to smooth things over, begin to take advantage of it. True kindness is firm. It does not adjust. It helps, but does not humiliate itself. It can leave without explaining. Machiavelli wrote, "A ruler should be generous, but not so much that it ruins his power. The one who gives himself away without measure quickly becomes a pauper." Hidden weakness is not the absence of strength, but the fear of losing control. A person is afraid to say no because he thinks he will be rejected. He fears coldness because he considers it cruelty. He fears distance because he is not sure of his own worth. Machiavelli understood. Respect requires distance. The closer you allow others to get, the faster they stop seeing you. Strength is not about being severe. It is about being consistent. People respect not rudeness, but predictability. When you are the same in different circumstances, you become the axis. The world revolves, but you stand still. This is power, inner immobility. But the most destructive thing about hidden weakness is the habit of justifying others' disrespect. You tell yourself, "He's just tired. She didn't mean any harm. They didn't understand." You find reasons to stay where you are not respected. Machiavelli wrote, "He who tolerates minor evil is ready for a major one, because the habit of enduring becomes the norm." When you allow disrespect, you teach people to repeat it, because the world learns from you how it can treat you. First, small concessions, then neglect, then habit. And one day you wake up realizing that you no longer have weight. Machiavelli knew, power is not lost suddenly. It is given away in pieces. Every time you choose peace over a boundary, explanation over action, patience over clarity, and respect leaves in the same way, quietly, almost unnoticed, until one day only tiredness and bitterness remain. But there is a truth in this. Respect can be regained. It does not depend on the past. It returns when a person stops justifying himself, when he starts living according to an internal law and not according to the expectations of others. Machiavelli wrote, "The strong can always regain power if they are capable of discipline." The secret of respect is that it is not asked for. It demands a price. You must be ready to lose love, comfort, favor. You must be ready to be alone. Because respect is not about the number of people around you, but about who you are when no one is there. And only when you stop chasing acceptance do people start being drawn to you, because they feel you do not need them. Machiavelli knew power is not strength over others, but freedom from them. You stop being respected not when you make a mistake, but when you start justifying it. A mistake does not destroy respect. Justification does. Machiavelli said, "Power is not lost due to defeats, but because the ruler loses face." A person who calmly acknowledges a blunder without self-abasement maintains strength. The one who starts to explain and justify loses it. Hidden weakness is not softness, but the habit of living by reaction. You wait for someone to define your worth. You depend on whether they will smile at you, write to you, approve of you. And in this expectation, you lose your footing. Machiavelli wrote, "If your people rule your mood, you are no longer the ruler." Likewise, a person whose state depends on the attitude of others ceases to be himself. To regain respect, you need to regain distance, not coldness, not alienation, but an internal boundary. Machiavelli knew, fear and respect grow on the same soil. Predictability. People fear those whose reactions they cannot control. If you are predictable in your dignity, they start to respect you. Stop giving unnecessary explanations. Stop proving that your motives are pure. Stop persuading. People respect silence more than speech. Machiavelli wrote, "The silence of the ruler is part of his power, because silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty, distance." Don't be afraid to be misunderstood. The world is always wrong in its assessment of those who are stronger than average. People are accustomed to respecting only those who make their lives convenient, but respect bought with convenience is worthless. Machiavelli knew, it's better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. For a person, this means one thing: let them fear to cross you. Let them feel that your calmness is not weakness, but a limit. When you become convenient, they stop seeing you. People only notice boundaries. If you dissolve, they pass by. Machiavelli said, "Power always requires a clear form. Without form, there is no figure. Without a figure, there is no respect." Your shadow is your guardian. A part lives in every person that does not want to be kind, does not want to yield, does not want to explain. This part is the core of dignity. Hidden weakness is the result of you suffocating your shadow for the sake of approval. You wanted to be bright, and you became invisible. People sense where there is no core, and they stop bowing. Machiavelli did not teach cruelty. He taught to see the nature of things. A person who cannot say no cannot be respected. Respect is not love. It is the acknowledgement of your internal law. And if this law can be broken, respect disappears. To regain strength, you need to regain fear. Not panic, but sacred fear. Machiavelli wrote, "It's better for the ruler to be feared than loved, if he cannot be both." For a person, this means one thing: let them fear to cross you. Let them feel that your calmness is not weakness, but a limit. When you stop justifying yourself, you regain power. When you stop reacting, you regain energy. When you stop waiting to be understood, you regain respect. Machiavelli knew, he who is less dependent governs. The world does not respect those who seek equality. The world respects those who hold the structure, because in chaos, everyone looks for a point of support. And if you are capable of being it, even enemies bow their heads. Machiavelli wrote, "Strength is not loudness, it is consistency." Do not try to force others to respect you. Just stop being where you are not respected. Your absence will say more than any words. When you leave calmly, without scandal, you become a mirror. People begin to see who they really are, and often it is at this moment that their respect begins. Strength is not a struggle. It is the ability not to get involved. Machiavelli knew the ruler's energy should not be wasted on those who are incapable of appreciating it. In life, this means one thing: do not try to prove your worth to those who see only their own benefit. Silent detachment is a form of power. Hidden weakness will always try to pull you back into old roles. You will feel guilt, doubt, inner noise. This is the shadow of a dependent consciousness. Machiavelli would say, "Do not negotiate with your weakness. It always sounds convincing, but if you give it a voice, It will return you to where you are again asking for permission to be yourself. To be respected, you don't have to be cruel. You have to be clear. Respect is born not from the fear of punishment, but from the fear of breaking order. People feel where the order is, and they yield to it. Machiavelli knew, respect cannot be demanded, but it can be evoked. It arises when a person sees a structure before them in which there is no fuss, when they see a calmness that can be trusted, when they feel this person does not succumb to flattery or threats. The strong person does not need protection. His boundaries are his calmness. His dignity is in silence. His power is in consistency. If you want to regain respect, stop seeking justice. Respect does not come to those who demand. It comes to those who deserve. Machiavelli said, "The world does not reward the righteous. The world obeys those who act." The strong person acts without noise. He does not argue, does not justify, does not explain. He simply takes a step, and the space adjusts, because the energy of respect is the energy of clarity. When your line is straight, the world aligns itself around it. You stop being invisible when you stop being convenient. People should not feel that you are always around. They should know that you can be lost. Machiavelli wrote, "The ruler's presence should be felt but not intrusive. For a person, this means stay in the shadow but hold the field. And in this field, everything returns to its place. Silence becomes a shield, distance a weapon, clarity currency. And then respect returns, not as a reward, but as a consequence." If you recognized yourself in these words, write, "I stop justifying myself." If you feel you are ready to reclaim your inner dignity, write, "My silence is my law." If you understood that respect is not a plea, but the energy of a boundary, write, "I don't explain, I act." Let this be the beginning of a new strength. This is only the beginning.